Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are opening a window onto something really quite special. An object with just enormous emotional and historical weight. It's an album,
Yeah, it belonged to a young girl, Anna Flack. They called her Flacca.
Flacca. And this album, it's so much more than just a scrapbook, isn't it? It feels more like a mission.
It really is. It holds on to the hopes, the goodbyes, just those tiny bits of normalcy that these Jewish girls clung to right in the middle of the Holocaust.
So this album, it's our starting point.
Absolutely. Our mission for this deep dive is really to get beyond the standard history of Theresienstadt. We want to focus right in on the day-to-day life, the culture, and honestly, the incredible resilience of the girls living in room 28.
Room 28 of the girls' home, L410.
That's the one. And we're pulling this from some amazing sources, diaries like Helga Polak kept a detailed one, and the memories of the women who survived.
Okay, but before we dive into room 28 itself, maybe we should set the scene a bit, because Theresienstadt, it's complicated. It wasn't just one thing.
No, absolutely not. You have to grasp this fundamental, cruel irony. The Nazis used this old fortress town for two things at once.
Right. It was a transit camp, a
Okay.
holding place before they sent people, mostly to Auschwitz, right? To the east.
Exactly. A staging ground for mass murder.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they built this elaborate fiction, a model ghetto.
A showcase, like a stage set.
Precisely. A Potemkin village, all just propaganda. We'll definitely come back to how twisted that got later on.
But even facing that right from the start, you see this resistance to just being a number.
That's what jumps out immediately.
Yeah.
How they fought the dehumanization. They didn't just become prisoner 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
They made this incredibly tight community, and they used their own language, their own names.
Nicknames, you mean?
Yeah, check nicknames, often really playful ones. It was about holding on to who they were. Like Ruth Schechter was Zajicik,
Which means?
Bunny, and Anna Flack, the girl with the album, she was Flacca.
Little bottle.
Yeah. Tiny labels, maybe, but actually profound acts of saying, I am still me.
Okay, let's get inside room 28 then, the physical place. What was it actually like? This wasn't a community they chose.
No, it was forced. We're talking, what, over 30 girls?
30 plus, yeah, crammed into a room that was barely 323 square feet, just tiny.
Imagine. The sources say they slept like sardines, in bunks stacked 3 high.
And just constant struggles, right? Hunger, obviously, but the cold.
Penetrating cold, relentless overcrowding, and the vermin.
Bedbugs seem to be a recurring nightmare in the diaries.
Oh, absolutely. They talk about a plague of bed bugs hitting really hard in July and August of 43. It wasn't just gross. It was this constant physical and, frankly, psychological attack.
And beyond that discomfort, the huge immediate danger was disease.
Everywhere. Typhoid, scarlet fever, jaundice, it ripped through the place.
And the death toll shows it. Late 1942 sounds particularly bad.
It was horrific. There was one day, September 18th, 1942, they recorded 156 deaths in a single day.
Just stay.
And what's really revealing and heartbreaking in a way is how the Jewish Council, the internal leadership, dealt with this. They made a choice.
To prioritize the children.
Yes, youth welfare, better food, relatively speaking, better conditions for the kids. They saw the young as the future, the only hope.
Which makes sense, but
But it meant even less for the elderly who were already suffering terribly.
Yeah.
It was this impossible, tragic trade-off, an administrative decision born of sheer desperation, but the moral cost.
yeah, unimaginable. And you see the individual cost, too. Helga Polak, when she arrived in January 43, she kept track in her diary.
She did. Her weight.
Lost 12.5 pounds in just 3 months, dropped from about 113 pounds down to 101, just like that. Shows how quickly the body started to fail.
And yet, even in that, you find these little starks, tiny moments of humanity people had to organize, right? Which was the euphemism for getting things illicitly.
A survival skill.
Absolutely essential. Helga wrote about Judith Schwartzbart, who was really sick with typhoid, and she desperately wanted a lemon. Just a lemon.
Probably impossible to get normally.
Totally. But her father, somehow, at great personal risk, managed to organize half a lemon for her.
Wow.
And that half a lemon, it wasn't just about the vitamins. It was this tangible proof that someone still cared, someone would risk everything for you.
So getting a lemon was fighting the physical decline, but there was this other battle, right? Keeping spirits up, keeping minds alive.
That's where the moral resistance really kicks in. And it was often led by these incredible counselors and teachers. Women like Ella Polak, Eva Weiss, Frau Brumlikova.
They basically set up a secret school.
Highly secret, yes.
Yeah.
A structured education right under the noses of the Nazis. And the danger was immense.
What happened if they got caught?
teaching forbidden subjects,
Hmm.
instant transport, likely to the little fortress, the Gestapo prison, right there in Theresienstadt. Horrific place.
So how did they even manage?
It was constant improvisation. Teachers would just disappear deported. So the curriculum had to be totally fluid. If your English teacher got deported and the only replacement knew math.
You learned math that day.
Exactly. You learn math. Survival demanded flexibility.
And the kids weren't just passive students here.
Not at all. They were part of the conspiracy. They had lookouts, a girl always watching. The second the alarm went up, the Germans are coming, they had, like, seconds.
To hide everything.
Sweep up every scrap of paper, every pencil stub, shove it all under blankets, look innocent.
Wow. And they used sound, too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Singing.
Yes. Which is brilliant. They'd sing songs like this melancholy Czech folk tune, bivavalo, means something like life was once good.
Partly to lift spirits, I guess.
Partly, sure, but also strategically. To drown out the noise of classes if the SS were searching nearby floors, or just to project this image of harmless, permitted leisure. A trick.
But it wasn't just the adults imposing structure. The girls themselves took initiative.
That's what's so fascinating. They formed their own club, April 1st, 1943. Called it the Maogal.
Magal, Hebrew.
Yeah, means circle, or maybe perfection. It was their own idea to improve discipline, solidarity, just how they treated each other within the room.
And they had a motto, right? That really says a lot about the pressure they were under.
It's intense. Vishimi venim ti, vishivim bujak bud, nezradi nezradim.
Which translates to,
Trust me, I trust you. You won't betray, I won't betray.
that focus on not betraying.
That's the core of it, isn't it? In a place where everyone's desperate, where fear is constant, where turning on your neighbor might seem like a way to survive. That vow was huge. It wasn't just friendship. It was like an ethical commitment.
Defining their own morality against the Nazi system.
Explicitly. A system designed to make everyone turn on each other. They even wrote their own anthem for the Magal to really cement that bond.
And this solidarity, it wasn't just inward-looking within Room 28.
No, they reached out. They understood that lifting spirits elsewhere mattered. They'd practice songs, harmonies.
Including songs they didn't even understand.
Right. Like a Dutch song, Wade Blank. They admitted they had no clue what the words meant, but they sang it beautifully just to bring some cheer to the elderly prisoners. A small act, but significant.
And they connected with the boys, too, the ones writing that secret newspaper.
Yes, the boys in Home L417 who were putting out Videm We Lead, an incredible underground publication. Those connections were vital.
Which brings us to culture, creativity. It feels like that was just essential.
It was the lifeblood. Seriously. Not just keeping busy, it was psychological survival. You see it so clearly with the art teacher, Friedl Dicker-Brandeis.
She wasn't just teaching drawing, was she?
No, her approach was amazing. She knew these kids were traumatized, so she focused less on technique, more on, well, therapy through art, rhythmic exercises, getting them to express spontaneously.
Trying to restore some balance.
Exactly. She said she wanted to teach them to, again, see the world not just through fear, but through color, rhythm. And crucially, she saved their work. Over 3,000 drawings. Hid them.
Knowing they would be a testimony.
Yeah. And then there's Brindebar, the children's opera.
Ah, yes, the story of the kids defeating the evil organ grinder.
Who, on that stage, in Theresienstadt, was clearly Hitler. No question.
So performing it was an act of defiance.
A huge communal act of defiance.
Yeah.
Hansa Treiflinger played Brundebar, the villain. And the survivors, they all talk about this incredible feeling, this wave of triumph, singing that final chorus. Brindebar Pareschen.
We have defeated Brundebar.
Yeah. For those few minutes, they controlled reality. They won through art.
And it wasn't only children's stuff. There was serious music, too.
Oh, yes. Raphael Schechter, an amazing conductor, he rehearsed Verdi's Requiem in the cellar of L410 with just a smuggled score and a broken piano.
Verdi's Requiem, that's intense.
Incredibly intense. And the impact. Helga Polak, years later, after the war, for her 21st birthday, the one thing she wanted was to go and see Verdi's Requiem performed properly.
Wow. That tells you everything. That music was a lifeline.
It connected them to their past, their culture, their future selves. It was survival. And they did lighter things, too. Comedies like Amalka and Pasinka. Humor was vital.
Okay, so you have all this internal life, this resilience, this culture, and then the Nazis decide to put on their big show.
Yeah, the ultimate grotesque performance. Spring, summer, 1944, the big beautification campaign.
Turning Theresienstadt into that Potemkin village you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. All for a visit from the International Red Cross. specifically a delegate named Dr. Maurice Roussel.
So what do they do? Just clean up?
Oh, way more than that. Frantic cleaning, yes. Painting facades,
Hmm?
putting up fake street signs, to the bank, to the post office, as if
Face shops, too.
fake shops stocked with goods they already confiscated from the prisoners. They even opened a park, put in new benches, created this completely false reality just for a day.
And how did the prisoners react to this? I mean, living inside a lie.
Well, what's fascinating is they sort of adopted this idea,
Yeah.
but for themselves. They had this motto, the as-if motto.
As if.
Yeah, it came from a cabaret poem by one of the prisoners, Els Krasapley. It was about deliberately pretending things were normal, just to cope, because the actual reality was just too grim to face constantly.
Like a psychological defense mechanism.
Totally. Helga Pollak's 14th birthday party is the perfect example. She describes this incredibly fancy 7-course banquet in the Grand Hotel Hecht, wrote out this elaborate menu.
But the food wasn't actually there.
Well, maybe a tiny bit. A wisp, as she put it. The rest, pure imagination. But by acting as if they were having this grand feast, they were taking back control, at least inside their own minds, denying the Nazis that internal space.
But the actual Red Cross visit, the facade was pretty thin, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It almost blew up in their faces. There's this story from the visit in June '44. Rossel, the delegate, or someone with him, asked one of the girls why they had whole loaves of bread sitting out in the barracks. Normally, it was strictly rationed pieces.
Right, that would look suspicious.
Exactly. And this girl, thinking on her feet, just blurts out, "Oh, that's because we're a commune. We're communists, you see."
Communists, oh my.
Yeah, trying to play along with the absurdity, maybe.
Eh.
But the report says the visitors just sort of cringed. It showed how fragile the whole charade was.
But it worked, didn't it, the official report?
Tragically, yes. Despite moments like that, Rossel seems to have bought it, or at least reported that he did. His report claimed Theresienstadt was a town that lives an almost normal life. And worse, he called it a final destination camp.
Implying no one was sent anywhere else.
Exactly, which was a blatant lie. The transports to Auschwitz were ongoing. His report basically gave the Nazis cover.
And soon after that visit, things got much worse. The transports accelerated.
Yeah, the autumn of 1944. That's when the liquidation transports really began. Most of the girls from Room 28, their families, everyone, sent east. Mostly to Auschwitz-Birkenau.
That must have been a time of just unbearable dread.
Utter turmoil. Helga Pollak wrote about deciding to fast during that period. Not for religious reasons, but for self-control. Just trying to master something, anything, when her entire life was completely out of her hands, waiting for the inevitable.
And the farewells, they wrote messages in Flosch's album, didn't they?
Heartbreaking messages. Knowing they were likely saying goodbye forever. Irina Grunfeld wrote something like, "Your path will lead you up the mountain and down the mountain. Walk bravely and hold your head up high, whistling a happy tune." Just devastating hopefulness.
And through all this, they held on to that promise they made.
The promise. The vow they made to each other. To meet up again.
Where was it?
On one of the first Sundays after the war. Under the bell tower in the Old Town Square in Prague. That specific promise, that was their anchor to a future.
And for the few who did survive, how many made it back from Room 28?
Only 15. 15 girls returned. And that promise, that memory, it became their lifelong mission.
Like Ela Weisberger.
Yes. She dedicated her life to speaking about it. She said, "No one knows these children apart from us. It was a duty."
Driven by the lessons they learned there.
Absolutely. Driven by that moral compass their counselors gave them. They never forgot Margaret Muehlstein's guiding idea. Our years in Theresienstadt will have been for nothing if we ever oppress so much as a single person in our own lives.
Wow. That's the core legacy, isn't it?
That's the ultimate connection, I think. This whole deep dive just shows the power of community refusing to be crushed. They used everything they had, humor, art, education, trust, to hang on to their humanity crammed into that tiny room.
It's an incredible story of the human spirit blooming in the absolute worst conditions.
It really is.
And the loss. The talent that was just distinguished.
Mm-hmm.
It's overwhelming when you think about it, like Peter Ginz.
From a boy's home, yeah.
Hmm?
One of the key writers for Videm. Brilliant kid. His drawing, Moon Landscape.
The one that went to space.
That's the one. In 2003, the Israeli astronaut Ilan Ramon took a copy with him on the space shuttle Columbia. He called Ginz a symbol of the talent lost in the Holocaust. Sadly, Ramon himself died when Columbia broke up on re-entry.
A poignant echo.
It really is. And maybe that leaves a question for you, listening. These children, these girls, they showed us this complete moral and creative resistance against being dehumanized.
So how do we honor them?
Yeah, how do we honor that immense lost talent? How do we sustain the creativity, the moral principles they fought so hard for? Make sure their memory isn't just history, but something that guides us now in our own lives.
Something to really think about. Carry that light, that model circle
Yeah.
with you. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.